Yeah,
2 weeks ago, August 15th, you, as I understand, you have a coffee in the morning. You go to the bank in Kabul thinking that this is a normal day. You're going to just go take some money out. What did you witness, Sahraa?
Oh, it was, if I knew that what happened in next hours, I wouldn't even wake up, because as usual day, I always have my coffee in the morning and I put my makeup and I especially I dressed very casual. I always dress casual, but at that day I put my jeans and I just, get out because I didn't have chance to get money in previous days. So I said, okay, I'm going to bank and to get some money. And then when I went there were maybe 300 to 400 people were standing in front of the bank. All banks, all private banks, full of people, and people were even at the streets. And because they know me, so they let me go in. And I was waiting 2-3 hours, and then suddenly gunshots started. And the manager of bank, he came to me and he told to me that I need to go home. I said, what happened? And he said that Taliban surrounded the city, and some of them they just entered to the city and they are nearby, and if they see you they will kill you, because I'm quite famous in Afghanistan.
So the bank manager would have known who you are.
Yeah, everybody knows me, and he showed me the back door, and he tried to take taxi for me. The taxi, he didn't take me, so I started to running. In the middle of my running, it is 5 kilometers far from my home. In the middle of my running, I just started, okay, what's going on here in Afghanistan? Nobody knows that we are facing this, that Taliban just entered the city. So I started to go live on my Instagram. In between, like going live on my Instagram, and some people, especially men, they at the street, they started to make fun of me.
Yes.
Oh, general director of Afghan film is running. Oh, she's afraid. And I was angry, so I shot on them. And then
can I just ask you about that, because you mentioned that in something you wrote for the New Yorker, that people were making fun of you as you were running. Is that because they didn't actually believe that the Taliban were going to take over the city, or that they didn't see it as a threat?
Also, that making fun of me also has some history, because I am very outspoken person, and so in some TV interviews I always challenged patriarchal society of our country, and I always criticize.
Yes.
So many people, they didn't like my view about how I criticize the traditional society, our patriarchal society. But many people, they didn't believe that Taliban entered the city. They were standing in front of their door and they were just looking,
So when you said there was hundreds of people at the bank, was that because they thought that there was some imminent threat? Why were there hundreds of people at the bank?
No, there were few last days in Kabul, there were very heavy traffic jam, and also a lot of people, they went to bank and to get money.
Right.
So it was like usual. But bank didn't have money because central bank didn't send money, Then I was in contact with my friend. She is president of Slovak Film and TV Academy, Wanda Hritsova. I was in contact in last days with her, and I was described my situation, and I called her that Taliban entered the city, and I think that there will be problem. And she told me there is a flight at 4:30 at airport. Ukrainian government, they are evacuating their staff. She will talk with Ukrainian if they put me in that airplane.
Okay, hang on a second.
Yeah.
There's so much here that I want to. So you're at the bank. The bank manager says the Taliban are coming. You start running. You're running. You go. By the way, you make that little video on your Instagram. That video went viral. I mean, the whole world saw that video of you running. I'm curious. You get back to your place. Tell me about the decision, Sahraa, to leave Afghanistan. I mean, that couldn't have been an easy. You've gone back there. You've known it's not an easy country. You've been there for a decade now. When did you know that it was the only option? That even, I mean, because it's a suspension of disbelief, as you say. A lot of people didn't even know.
If I was alone in Kabul, I wouldn't escape. Okay, I am that crazy enough that I sometimes I don't even listen to anything. But
you wanted to leave because of your family.
to be honest, it was just because of my daughters of my brother. I was a role model for them, and I supported their education. When this happened, without any waiting, I was just thinking of them. Okay, if anything happened to me, because I know that Taliban will come after me, because I was very famous, outspoken person against Taliban. So even people, they were afraid. I was every day posting something against Taliban. So I was thinking of them that maybe they will be killed because of me. You know, if Taliban come and take over the city, they are not going to survive under their system.
So how do you round up? Because I know you end up leaving with a bunch of family members, or at least trying to leave with a bunch of family members. How do you round up all those people right away?
I just call them. I just call my brother. Where are your daughters? And he said that one of them is in kindergarten and blah blah blah. One of them is preparing for exam. And I told you have just 20 minutes to collect everything.
Wow.
Take your passport and just put whatever you can in your suitcase and wait for me. I'm coming after you.
Wow.
It was just, it was just 15-20 minutes. And then I had two of my colleagues, they were at office, because they were my assistants, and everybody know that they're my assistants. I just called them and I said them, if you have your passport with yourself, just come to my place. We are leaving. And they said that, but they don't have anything, other things. I said, we are leaving, and just say goodbye to your family. So I take them, and I take...
Sorry, Sahraa, does anybody, I mean, your brother or your assistants, did anybody say, no, let's wait, let's take, I mean, or did they just know if you're calling and saying this?
Because I the thing is that I was the bravest person in
right. If you're saying this, they better go. Yeah.
So and they were waiting, and then I called my cousin and I told him, please bring your car and take us to airport. It's still, people were they were confused. So for that I could get to airport. Otherwise, I would end up in that chaotic situation that we faced.
It occurs to me if you'd waited a day or two, you would be in exactly that thing that we've been watching. Those horrible images of people stuck in trying to get out at the airport. Right? I mean, although I always believe my instincts. When I decide that I do something, and I do it, I don't wait. So I just decided, okay, I'm going. I don't care whatever happened, but I should be inside the airport, because inside the airport is safer. So I thought at that time. When we get to airport, we did the regular checking. Even it was staff were there, airport's employee were there. So, and then after 1-2 hours, then when Taliban shared their photo that they took over pallets and our president left the country, then the chaotic situation started. But we couldn't catch the flight. You did not get on that flight.
No, we couldn't. Yeah.
So what was that like when you don't get on the flight? I mean, that must have been terrifying, right?
I had 11 people with me, and I was. Now the funniest thing is that my brother had a guest. Okay. I took the guest too.
Wow.
So it was, I took everybody with me. I don't know, maybe it was, we call in Persian, we call qismat.
Yes,
it was the fate.
Yes.
Yeah. I just took them also with me. They had expired passport, but I took them with me also. When they said that, okay, you missed the flight, I didn't share this information with people that were with me. I just said, oh, the flight will be late. Wow. So because children were with me. Right. So I, at that
Geez,
night,
you really are brave. I would have, I don't know if I would have, what I would have done.
At that night, I was filming in the same time because I didn't want to miss the situation. And I was telling the story to children, to just tell them this is a different journey and you should be brave. And I was encouraging them to not to sleep or not to be, because they couldn't eat for 40 hours, And and I trying to push my brother and his wife and those others that because they were adult and they knew everything, but I trying to show them that I'm strong. And it was very, because we also tried to get to American airplane, but they didn't let us. So, and then again, my friend, she called to Ukrainian government cooperated with the Turkish government and the Slovakian government all together. And next day, we could go to army part of the airport. And that.
So you just stayed inside the airport until you could leave.
No, I didn't stay inside the airport. There was it was like kind of. Thousand people they entered the airport after the collapse of Kabul.
Yes.
And then American army, they started to push out everybody. So I decided to separate it from the crowd. So we went totally opposite side of the airport and we hide in the building.
Oh my God.
And we informed, we hide in the very empty building, and we informed the Ukrainian government and Turkish government that we are in this place. If you want to find us, you should come to that place.
How did you know to do that?
I am very good in these things. I'm film director.
Okay, you're film director. So you went and hid in an empty part of. So this is away from all the chaos that we've been seeing.
Yeah, I just didn't want to be in between the crowd.
Yes.
Because children, they were, for example, my niece, she's Dunya, her name is Dunya, she was asking a lot of questions, and I was lying to her, and I was so unhappy. I just decided immediately that I'm going to separate from this crowd. I'm going to hide somewhere, and we will see.
You said that the Turkish, how did the Turkish government get involved?
They called because they got called from Ukrainian government, and they give my number, and they called me, and they told me that they cannot take me, but I told them if I go and hide somewhere, you can come nearby airport. Then we went outside of the terminal, and then because I used to film inside of airport before, so I knew some places. So I knew that there is an office of local air agency, but there were around that office, there were a lot of criminals and thieves. But we entered and we closed the door. And then I informed them, I messaged them that I am inside this building. Anytime you come, then at 6 a.m. In the morning, they came and they took us from there.
Wow.
So we went from window and those things. It was like films,
Yes, it sounds like a film.